Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We're kicking off today's video with a story about a well-meaning neighbor who borrowed a few watts of electricity and ended up locked out of the outlets on both sides of the duplex. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I stole 10 cents of electricity, she lost hours and her sanity over it. When I rented half of a duplex back in 2002, the woman next door, let's call her Karen, made it her full-time hobby to police my existence. If I so much as sneezed, she was on the phone to the landlord. One night, I even got a 2 a.m. wake-up call. Your neighbors say you're throwing a loud party. I was alone, lights off, dead asleep, unless my snoring counts as EDM. The property had a shared shed with the landlord's electric lawnmower. One Saturday, I finished cutting my half of the yard and thought, why not be nice? I decided to mow Karen's half as well. My extension cord reached almost all the way, but the last strip of her grass was out of range. No big deal, I figured. I unplugged from my outlet and used hers for maybe 5 minutes. 10 cents a juice tops, and left her lawn looking pristine. The next morning, she was on my porch, face redder than a stop sign. How dare you steal my electricity, she screeched. I tried to explain it was just a neighborly favor. She threatened police, small claims court, divine retribution, everything short of Interpol. I shrugged and walked back inside. The following day, a handyman was on her side of the duplex installing those clear, lockable covers over both of her exterior outlets. 2 shiny padlocks clicked shut like I'd been plotting a grand heist instead of borrowing a few watts. Here's the thing. Those padlocks were the cheapest big box junk you can buy. Lockpicking's a side hobby of mine, and I recognized the model, about $6 each at Walmart. So I bought 2 identical ones. While Karen was at work, I strolled over, popped her locks open in seconds, and replaced them with my own twins. To the naked eye, nothing had changed. Except I held the keys now. It took a couple of weeks for the payoff. One humid afternoon, I heard cursing outside. I peeked through the blinds. Karen's grass was calf-high, and she was pounding those clear outlet covers with a hammer, convinced her thrift store locks had rusted shut. 30 minutes of whacking accomplished nothing but bruised ego and a fried extension cord. All because I stole a few pennies of electricity to give her a free lawn trim. Next time, Karen, accept the favor. It's cheaper than replacing padlocks and a lot less painful on the wrists. Should have called the landlord and complained about the hammering and say she's tearing up the duplex with it. I'm watching her beat on the electric outlets right now. She probably returned the covers to Walmart and inflicted her neurosis on the poor person at customer service. And our second story. Policy says I can't stop a thief, but gravity and panic can. Retail policy can reduce even the most motivated employee to a spectator. At my chain store, the official directive on shoplifters boils down to observe, record, do not confront. We're not allowed to accuse anyone outright or demand to see what's in a purse or bag. Management worries a wrongly accused customer or an agitated thief might cause a lawsuit or a scene, and corporate hates both. At best, we can shadow the suspect, radio the possible code 40, and call the mall's contract security. They, in turn, can't lay a finger on anyone. It's like watching a pickpocketing tutorial in real time while wearing mittens. Last Tuesday, I discovered there's still room for a little poetic justice. No physical contact required. The setup. It's 5:50 p.m., 10 minutes before closing, and I've just made the first announcement over the intercom. Good evening, shoppers. Our registers will close in 10 minutes, so please bring final purchases to the front. It's only me, female 20, on the register, and Mike, male 17, straightening end caps and then locking the entry doors at 5:55. We're on the home stretch. Floors mopped, tills counted, mine's halfway to dinner. That's when she walks in. Enter the hooded hurricane. The automatic doors hiss open and a woman in a gray zip-up sweeps through, head ducked, hoodie yanked forward like she's auditioning for an undercover sting. Most legit shoppers mosey, glance at displays, maybe grab a basket. She laser targets the display rack of 99-cent reusable totes positioned beside my till. In one practiced motion, she snatches a bag and power walks past me towards snacks, the favorite aisle of impulse thieves, Candy bars, jerky, energy drinks, light, pricey, easy to fence or binge. Something's off right away. Customers who truly intend to buy a tote usually wait until checkout so we can remove the tag. Grabbing it first is classic take and stuff behavior. Still, policy is policy. I ring up my last true customer, a sweet grandmother buying lavender soap, while clicking my headset. Me, softly, "Hey Mike, gray hoodie, just bag snatched and sprint into aisle 7. Eyes, please." Mike, "Copy, was about to latch doors. Give me 30 seconds. Mike's door gambit. Our front consists of 2 heavy glass panels that slide but can also be pushed manually if they're unlocked. Every night at 5:55, the floor lead pulls them together, leaving a narrow person-wide gap so late shoppers can exit, but no one new can enter. Mike, bless his mischievous soul, decides to close them all the way, still unlocked but flush together, creating a seamless wall of glass. Anyone wanting out would have to plant both feet, heave, and reveal themselves. Hinges groan, glass thunks into place. Panic in aisle 7. The sound is a dinner bell. Gray hoodie pops into view, bag now comically bulky. She's not alone. Another woman, let's call her partner in crime, appears with an identical tote, equally stuffed. Both freeze when they see the sealed exit, then break into a full sprint. They collide with the doors, palms sliding over the unmoving surface in pure cartoon frenzy. Grandma soap buyer and I share a look that says, "Did this shift just get interesting?" I raise my voice in my Swedish retail tone. Me, "Ladies, everything in those bags, including the bags, belongs to this store." Mike strolls up behind them, arms crossed. Mike, "We watched you load up. Cameras did too." They whirl around, eyes wild, then resume pounding and cursing. Partner in crime screams that we're holding them hostage. Gray hoodie threatens lawsuits, God, and karma in one breath. The one customer who does need to leave. Grandma approaches, receipt in hand. "Dear, can I squeeze through? I've got dinner in the oven." Mike slides one door just wide enough for her to slip out, then pulls it shut again before the thieves react. Grandma winks at me on her way past the threshold, proof the universe still contains good people. The policy wall. Here's the maddening part. We can't physically block the thieves or yank the totes. If they manage to force the door and bolt, we can only call security and file a report. Touch them and we're liable. So all 3 of us, me, Mike, and the security camera, watch a bizarre, silent movie. Crooks wrestling a door they could technically open if they calm down long enough to pull instead of push. After another minute of flailing, Gray hoodie finally figures it out, tugs the door partially, and both women wedge themselves through the gap. They sprint across the parking lot, loot in tow. Total screen time maybe 90 seconds. Total merchandise loss an estimated $30. The payoff. Anticlimactic? A bit. But here's the cherry on top. Mike's quick door maneuver and my intercom timestamps gave loss prevention a neat video package. Entry, theft, attempted escape, clear face shots, license plate of the getaway car. Within 24 hours, LP emailed us. Police positively ID'd the pair from previous arrests, and warrants were pending. We may even get the goods back. Takeaways. Corporate rules may tie your hands, but improvisation helps. Mike didn't violate policy, he merely closed the door 10 minutes early. Customers notice. Grandma left laughing, saying she'd tell her friends those kids at the store don't mess around. Thieves rely on speed and distraction. Remove either and they panic, or in this case, literally bounce off a door. So yeah, the merchandise is likely gone, and we're still clocked out at 6:15 like any other night. But watching 2 would-be shoplifters trapped in their own anxiety spiral was the best 5-minute show I've seen on the job. No touching required. And our last story. Karen lost her house, then lost her mind trying to take it back. My husband and I bought our house back in 2016. It was a bank-owned foreclosure property, and we saw it as the perfect fixer-upper. After years of saving and searching, we finally had a place to call home. The house had good bones, but needed a lot of work. Nothing we weren't excited to take on. We closed the deal, filed the deed, moved in, and got busy painting, updating fixtures, and slowly bringing the place back to life. Everything was going smoothly until about a year later. It was a random weekday when the front doorbell rang. My sister, who was staying with us for a few weeks, answered it, only to be met by a woman aggressively trying to push past her into the house. "This is my house. I'm taking it back," the woman shouted, trying to shoulder her way inside. My sister stood firm, blocking the doorway with all 5 feet of fury and telling her to leave immediately. The woman continued yelling as she backed away, eventually shouting that she was going to call the cops on us for trespassing. We were completely rattled, but figured maybe she was just confused or in denial. Maybe it was a one-off emotional outburst. After all, losing a home is hard, right? Unfortunately, we were wrong. Over the next year and a half, she showed up 4 or 5 more times, sometimes pounding on the door, other times just loitering in the front yard. Each visit was some version of the same unhinged routine, claiming we were squatters, demanding we vacate immediately, trying to shove her way inside. Once she even returned with 2 police officers, but when we calmly showed the officers our property recorded deed and settlement paperwork, they gave her a stern warning. 1 more visit and she'd be arrested for trespassing. That day, we installed a Ring doorbell and placed security cameras around the entire property. We hoped that would be enough to finally end the madness. It wasn't. In early 2018, we received a notice from housing court she had filed for eviction against us, the legal homeowners. How did she even manage that? She'd listed our home address as her own on the filing, meaning she'd never received her own court summons. The judge tossed the case out with prejudice when our title insurance company sent a lawyer on our behalf to present the actual deed and foreclosure documentation. Unbelievably, she tried again a year later. Same tactic, same ridiculous claim. But this time she did show up in court, dramatically waving what she called a certified deed that looked like it had been printed at a public library. The judge took one look at the real documents our attorney brought and dismissed the case on the spot. We thought that had to be the final act. It wasn't. In mid-2019, mail started arriving again in her name, specifically phone bills from her mobile provider. This was strange, as there had been no trace of her for years. My husband took the unopened mail to the post office and explained the situation. They were understanding and flagged her account for fraudulent mail redirection. But then, 2 weeks later, our mailbox key just stopped working. We contacted the post office, and sure enough, they told us the lock had been changed. The woman had come in, claimed to be the homeowner using that same fake deed, and requested a key replacement. Thankfully, my husband got there before she could pick up the new key. She never accessed our mail, but we were officially done playing defense. We gathered every shred of evidence, ring footage of her visits, police reports, court dismissal documents, her false eviction filings, post office statements, foreclosure records, the whole mess. We handed everything over to our attorney. With their help, we filed for a no-contact order and a permanent restraining order citing criminal trespass, mail fraud, harassment, and falsifying legal documents. Last month, we finally had our day in court. She showed up in true Karen fashion, loud, combative, and once again flailing around that same fake deed. She interrupted the judge twice and accused us of stealing her home, but this time the judge wasn't having any of it. After reviewing the case history, he granted the permanent restraining order, set a 200-foot boundary, and referred her for investigation for mail fraud and filing fraudulent court paperwork. As she stormed out red-faced and fuming, the judge warned her any future contact would result in immediate arrest. We haven't heard from her since. Let's hope it stays that way. What's wild is how long she kept this up. Most people would have backed off after the first police visit or the first failed court case, but she doubled down, faking deeds, changing mailbox locks, and lying to the post office. It's like she genuinely convinced herself the house was still hers even after foreclosure. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.